I don't quite know the timelines here. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Chris Benoit was in the promotion before Tom and Davey returned. What did Tom, I suppose specifically Tom, but what did Tom and Davey think of Chris Benoit as sort of like a mini Dynamite in that sense?
Yeah, it was interesting. Chris was just a fan. They used to go to the shows in Edmonton, and it was obvious he idolized a lot of the wrestlers, but especially Dynamite. I think as far back as the early 80s, he was just a little kid coming to the shows, and he was very quiet, but I think he was always wanting to get a picture with Dynamite or an autograph with Tom, and Tom kind of just ignored him, but obviously he caught Tom's eye, just as a fan growing up. And then when they went to the WWF in '85, Chris broke into the business, and he started working for the Stampede promotion in '85. Somebody else had trained Chris initially, as some guy named Mike Hammer out of Edmonton, and then he sent Chris to train with Bruce and I in Calgary for a few weeks, and then we needed new baby faces, and Chris was just a natural athlete. He picked it up very quickly, but he was very inspired and influenced by Dynamite. You could tell by what he was doing in the ring, and so he broke in with us in the fall of '85, and and had a great run. Chris just he was just naturally blessed. There's certain ones like Brian Pillman, like Chris, like Owen, obviously, that were natural talents. They just picked it up right away, and and they had some other good guys to work with as well. But I know Chris was very much influenced and patterned his style after Dynamite, and then after he broke in with Stampede for a couple of years, Tom obviously kept his eye on him, saw him at some shows, and Chris was always so respectful of Dynamite. He just, he made it clear to Tom, "You're the reason why I got into wrestling. You're the biggest inspiration and influence on me." And, if he hadn't been as good a performer, I don't think Tom would have taken much notice of him, but obviously he earned Dynamite's respect, and did well in Stampede territory. And then, kind of followed that same career path. He started touring Japan and making tours there, and then started having great matches with a lot of the same guys Dynamite had good matches with, like Gamma Singh, and he was working with Johnny Smith, who was billed as Dynamite Davey's, I guess it's Davey's brother, which was just a storyline. But Chris was having great matches, and when Dynamite came back and started working for the territory in '88, he had a chance to be around Chris a lot more, and but I think Chris was so indebted to Dynamite, and so respectful of him and worshipped him, but he also earned Dynamite's respect on so many levels as a hard worker, and somebody who just was quiet and did his work in the ring, and it wasn't easy to earn Dynamite's respect, but Chris did.
Why did Dynamite give Chris his boots on television? Was this something pre-planned beforehand, and like Dynamite sort of announced his retirement, or was this an off-the-cuff thing because maybe Tom was feeling sorry for himself, or what was the situation there?
Yeah, this was something that was completely unplanned. Dynamite just, I think it was his way of passing the torch to Chris, and I think he kind of resigned that he wasn't going to be working for the Stampede promotion any longer, or much longer, so it was interesting because he was working heel at the time as well, but I also think it was a genuine gesture. It wasn't just done something to get a reaction from fans, but it was Dynamite's way of saying, "I'm passing the torch on to you, because you're going to be the next big star, basically. And since you've patterned your style after me and referred to me as a role model, I'm passing these boots on to you." So, but it was something completely unplanned, but it was seen as a pretty sincere gesture. And Dynamite didn't make overtures to that many wrestlers, but obviously Chris had won his respect and won his heart, and that's why he did that. But it was completely unplanned and very spontaneous, very genuine. But I think Tom was feeling a lot of mixed emotions at the time, and it was after a very tough period with him, with the fallout from the WWE, and then kind of giving up on what he could do for the Stampede promotion, and his own career was kind of at a crossroads. It looked like all he was going to really have at this point, especially with all the injuries and the lifestyle that he had become accustomed to, that he's just going to be making tours of Japan, and that was about it. And so this was his way of passing on the torch to Chris